Turbo Trading with head trader Robert Knight, MBA.
This is a talk on shorting stocks or buying put options on stocks in this current market environment. Now, the SPY today, so far, down 1.4%. We see that it had this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave move down. Fifth wave consolidation. If this breaks below the 450 level, this in actual fact would be the first wave down. This would be your second wave, and then we'd look for the start of the third wave down. So market's decidedly soft, there's no doubt about it. But if you look at the broader term, from the high of 47.42 to the low 4,500, let's call it 200 points, 200 and change. It's only 5% pullback. That's pretty normal in a market, especially one that's been rising this long. Now we're having the Feds are starting to taper, and they're tapering aggressively, and we should see interest rates, rate increases. They're calling now perhaps 3 rate increases, so that would be 0.75%. So from 0 to 0.75%, maybe to 0.5 would be reasonable. The thing is, the Fed can't go too high. They have, 28 trillion in debt that they have to service. So they can't be printing money to, you think inflation is bad now, wait to see if they would print money to try to pay interest rates at much higher levels. So they'll keep rates relatively low. Inflation will carry on around 4%, and they'll monetize their debt over a 10-year period by 40 or 50% through inflation. But what the Fed is hoping for is that you get, as they taper, the strength of the economy takes over, and we are seeing that, a very strong economy in the United States. So that should be able to withstand it. But let's talk about shorting the market here, or what are we waiting for? Let's look at the indicators. 24% of stocks above their 40-day moving average. So most stocks are in a downtrend. But the McClellan oscillator at negative 154, that's bearish. And it did tag down to negative 200, which is very bearish, extremely oversold. And we saw that every time we got this oversold down at negative 200, we had a big market rally. Now, past performance doesn't predict future direction, but this is a pretty strong indicator that when it gets extremely oversold like this, you get a washout, you're down 5 or 6%, which would be a normal pullback. VIX over 30 is bearish. So what I'm waiting for is to see. So we have a couple of things. First of all, should we be shorting the market? Well, I think we want to see a bounce. I don't think we want to short here on this trend line or when markets are reading, extremely oversold. That is not a position we want to be in. Let's see if it bounces and then, perhaps fails at, at support level or at resistance levels and starts to roll back over. That's when we want to look to go short. NDX is down 2.25%, big engulfing bearish bar, but still remains in this big rising channel. Now, if this broke down below 15,350, then that would change the story probably. The Dow is down just 0.5% today. Trannies were actually up there for a bit, down 0.14. The main ETFs were following. Financials, down 5.75. Here's the one that really is getting whacked, down 11% on the LABU. We talked about this. I've been writing about this for the last couple of weeks, that this was going much lower. I had 33 as a target. It did trade down to 35. So, we were avoiding the biotech sector. And you could have gone, when I said avoid the inverse to that is LABD. And it's up 30% since we made that call. So those, those are the kind of trades that you might want to put on when we see this being so bearish. IWM down 2.25%. So this really is in a lot of trouble. This is the broader markets, and the small caps just continue to get hammered. But what does that do? So what does that do for shorts? Well, I published yesterday a list of stocks, about 45 that were ripe for a short sale. But I think what you need to do is we need to wait and see either for the market to bounce or and see if it's just a 5% pullback, or if it's going to roll over and go. That's one of the things you have to wait for. But the other problem with short, with selling short the stocks or buying puts, is when markets are going down, the liquidity dries up, the volume goes away, nobody's trading anymore. So it's very difficult to short a lot of these stocks, unless they're the really big names. But for instance, this BPMC, look at this big engulfing bearish bar. This could trade down to this level here, 80. Well, but it's only traded 200,000 shares today. It's down $4. It's got 20-cent spreads, and there's probably no volume in the put options. Yeah, I mean, it's traded, one contract, 85. So, you have to see if it has shares available to short, and you can short it. But again, the volume is dried up, so it can go against you very quickly if it does. Let's have a look at a few others of these. Now, this DNLI, this actually has pretty good volume. No, it hasn't either. It's only 300,000. Same thing. So this is breaking down here, Denali. But you can't get into it. The puts on it, let's have a look. This one has a bit more. I mean, the December 45s traded some volume. So again, not much volume, to short these. It's only traded less than 300,000. I mean, this thing normally trades about 600,000. So you can see as markets drop, the value or the volume dries up on them. ENS, it's only traded 115,000. FRPT, 500,000. This might give you a bit more of an opportunity. But you can see this is a big sell-off for this stock. It's got support around 102. If it breaks below that, then it's probably going much lower. And a little bit better volume, so you may be able to short something like that. Garmin, 430,000. This is stair-stepping its way down. Short this if it takes a pop up to 140. But again, only 400,000 traded, so the options would be probably pretty thin. NVCR, 600,000. Look at the drop on that today, down 10. This could really take a drop down. But again, let me just quickly look. NVCR, if you're looking out the January 22s put options, I mean, in the 70s have traded 162 shares, 162 contracts, I mean. The 85s have traded 22 contracts. So there's just no liquidity to the puts, and it traded 600,000 on the stock itself. 15-cent spread, so not so bad, but you can see that, I mean, this thing gonna just looks like it's going to continue to go probably down to 60. Roku, now this one, this is liquid Roku for sure. I'm waiting to see if this bounces at all. It's down 7 today. If we can get any kind of bounce in the market, then I would look to short Roku for sure. So, I mean, the big names you can short. Facebook is another one that's bouncing a bit in here, but if this trades below 300, this is really bearish. I'd like to see that if this could bounce maybe up to 320 area, I'd put the short on Facebook because it is liquid. So there is some that are liquid, but in general, stocks, once the market starts to come off, the volume dries up. The juicy charts, ADS here, it's popping a bit, but ugly chart, but it's only traded 160,000. ADSK, gap down. Now this is traded a bit more. This is traded 1.2 million. This is a bear flag. If this breaks to the downside of this wedge, I probably can put a short on ADSK. Let's see if it has any volume in the options. Yeah, see, it doesn't trade, it close in trades a little bit, but not much. Still, not much put options on these. So you'd have to short the stock. It's a little bit of a bounce on this AHCO. Ugly chart. It's traded 500,000 shares. This AMED is bouncing off but it's only traded 280,000, so again, tough to short that. ATVI. Now this is traded 6.9 million. This has come down though from 98, it's already 58, but it does have room to move, to 51 and 42. I'd like to see this take a bounce. That's the thing. To put a short on this because it is liquid. This restaurant stock BGRI, very weak chart, but it's only traded 170,000. Beyond Meat, though, this one I think you can short this stock. It is liquid, 1.7, lots of options. I think it continues to go lower. And do that. This is a volatile trader, but it chart is weak. Maybe it bounces in here before we take a look at it. CDLX. Not much volume though, 173,000, but this is breaking down. COUP also breaking down. This is traded volume 1.7 million. This thing though has already come down from $370. It's just free falling now. It could trade down to, well, it's broken that now. Maybe next support around 150. It's really starting to free fall. I didn't put these on here, but these Chinese stocks, Tyler's been talking about these. This BABA, the PDD, also it's bounced a bit here. Any of these take a bit of a bounce. I'd look to short them. CTXS. It's traded 700,000. Look at this thing. Small range, but just dropping off. This could really drop down to here, 75, and then 71. Now it is already come down from 150, so maybe already too far down. This DKNG, I missed this as a short. I wanted to short it up here at this 40 level, now at 28. Also falling off like a rock. It could find some support in here around 27.5. It breaks below that, then you could short it. Be nice to see it take a bounce though before entering a trade into that. DAC, no real volume to it, so probably not be open to us. Dick's Sporting Goods, this is also traded quite a bit. It's traded 1.7 million, and it's breaking down here. Now it's broken through this trend line right here, so that's probably a good short. Double topped at 140, so probably could do that one. Now DKS, FRPT continuing to sell off here, but it's only traded 500,000, so a bit thin, and it's already down from 200, so maybe already too much. FSLY, this is down from 150, so maybe already, this one looks like it's ready to go. FTNT, it's down from 350, but it's really just starting to roll over here. FTNT, now it trades 1.2 million, so there is room for that to go lower. FVRR also traded 1.2 million, but this is down from recently from 260. It's down to 120. So can it keep going? Yeah, for sure, but it'd be nice to see it bounce first. GDOT, it's only traded 140,000, so not enough volume. Garmin, I like this Garmin as a short, but look at it stair stepping its way down. Only 500,000 shares traded though. Maybe if it can pop to 140, could look at doing that. GRWG, 1.5 million shares. This would, what a trade this would have been up at 50. Looks like it's going to zero. Back down to $3 anyways. INSP, just no volume on it. iRobot, same thing, not enough volume really to put a trade on. Jack, huge sell-off there, but not enough volume. LSPD. Now this has these software stocks. This has got. This is a big engulfing bearish bar there today. This has room to move down to 35, so you could probably do that one. But again, maybe we can get a bounce first. The SPY is right on support here. See if we get the next leg down. Medtronic's very, very liquid for sure. Let's see if it takes a bounce in here. PAGS also looks like it's ready to crack here at the 24. Don't know how much room it's got though to the downside. PDD, I shorted this myself. 66. It has taken a bit of a bounce here. If this could get back up into this range here, 61, 62. Fill the gap, look to short it. Penn, lots of liquidity in Penn. This thing just continues to, it's in a downtrending channel. Room to 33 on the Penn. Peloton. This is a broken chart, and this thing is going lower. It's going to zero. I'll have to restructure this company. You can't put an iPad on a spin bike and think you're going to do well. PVH selling off quite sharply here. Want to see it maybe bounce. QSR. This has bounced a bit here now. It's got some volume, so watch it maybe gets up into this 58 area. Could be an opportunity there. Big reversal on SDGR today, but low volume, so probably not something you can trade. This SE, now this has come from 370, now 250, but it's just free falling in here. Probably continues to go. If you could get a bounce in this, that would be probably worth looking to short. This is be a wave 1 down 2. This is your wave 3, wait for a bounce 4, and then when it rolls over, look to short it. Trip. Trip may not be enough room left in it. I mean, it was up at 60. And the last one, UPST. Lots of volume to it. Maybe wait for a bounce.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.